Hey everybody, Dev here, and this video today is all about those big hits that are super profitable, the ones where you walk away thinking, yeah, that was something special. So here we go. Let's jump in with my effort against a Max Town Hall 11. So I'll just pause it so you can take a look at this base. First of all, the left-hand side, top corner, 1 million gold, 774k pink, 5,157 dark. Okay, so ultimately, I had initial reservations about this base because it is a ring style base, and if you don't get the funnel quite correctly, it is going to go very poorly for you. So to take a look at the thinking here, I was going to funnel this area here with my queen, and I was going to use a queen with a warden. As you can see, I've already started that. All right, and then I was going to get giants and wizards to try to clear up this part through here. Now, taking a look, we can see that there's actually a gap in the wall there. So if you don't get your funnel right or you use Valks or whatever, they're going to be pulled right off course, and those walls are going to keep them out, and the Inferno and the Eagle Artillery is just going to smash them all day long. So getting that part funneled correctly was going to be the real thing, and then getting this Eagle Artillery down through these Expos, taking out that Town Hall. Hopefully your bowlers can also smash that Dark Elixir as well, and then it was just a matter of wait and see where I go from there. And see how the raid was progressing. So really I had one goal, and that was to get the Town Hall, and then breaking it down. How am I going to do that? Funnel this side with the Queen, try to funnel through here with Giants and Wizards, jump spell here, smash that Eagle Artillery, smash that Town Hall, collect the Dark, and Robert is your mother's brother. So we start off with the Queen. The good thing about this base also is that the collectors are quite full. And this base is definitely active. So if you were thinking maybe this base wasn't active, that's why the collectors were full, well, we've got some troops in that CC, so that would indicate that this person is actually active. Okay, so I've got the Warden and the Queen in the walk there, and have taken out the CC troops, which is always useful. And just look at her, she's taking a whole bunch of punishment there. 2 cannons, an archer tower, a mortar, a whiz tower. Okay, so I have to pop the ability and the rage at the same time. Fortunately, the Queen goes in, and now I can start the other portion of my funnel, which was Giants and Wizards through here, and also some wall breakers, which is useful, but I ran out of them, so in the end I decided to use the 2 jumps. And here is where things start to get a little bit dicey, as I realize that the bowlers are actually looking at those storages, as I mentioned before, and that Inferno. Fortunately, some peel off. Here we go, and the others go around the outside. Well, technically the inside. But luckily, that that Eagle Artillery has been taken care of, and the bowlers, still under a little bit of protection there from the healers, have managed to do their job, take out the Expos, take out the Dark Elixir storage, as you can see going down now, and the Golem is taking the heat from everything else, so we're in a pretty good shape. Warden and King, which is a good combo, especially if you're slow moving like this, with the bowlers, keeping everyone alive. Right, so now just collecting up all that lovely gold and pink through those storages. Still got the King ability. Queen has run into some trouble. That air defense took out the healers, and the Inferno Tower did a job on her too, but that Golem is still left just pounding away on those max walls. The King and the bowlers and the Warden aren't quick enough to get there in time, and so units just start popping off one by one. Wizards on the outside. Now, I probably could have dropped them up here to get some more gold, but at the moment I'm pretty stoked with how much of the loot I've got. So I managed to take out that last Inferno, and the Golem and the Warden aren't necessarily going to be doing anything useful from here, as the Wizards get in front of the meat shield. My last strike power is gone now. You'd argue that the Warden is pretty powerful, and yeah, okay, having something that is effectively a walking archer tower is effective, but in this case, going for the defences, because I've only got giants left rather than the collectors. So all in all, I was pretty happy with this raid. It turned out much better than I thought. I got quite a high percentage, got 2 stars, got a rather large swag of trophies too, which was always handy, always useful. And now you can see the Warden and the Golem just popping away on those walls, so it's time to finish this. time to finish this raid. So this next one is another Max Town Hall 11, and again a rather large, a lot of swag in that top left corner. So I'm starting this one off with a queen walk just off to the right hand side of that point there, and I really want to take down the Eagle Artillery first and foremost. Now it's also interesting that this is my first raid with a third rage spell, so my CC finally upgraded and I decided to take a rage spell. Had I been a bit more aware, I would have used it there instead of popping the queen ability. But it turns out okay. I mean, I've got the queen still up, and the wizards and giants did a good job in taking out a few of those buildings. Now the archer tower is being distracted by the queen, so the wizards can get in and nail that one as well. So the Eagle Artillery is about to fall, and you can see what I'm going to do next. I'm going to send in... oh, actually, good point. We'll just pause here. See this jump spell that I dropped down? Upon reflection, I'm actually a bit disappointed. If I was a bit more tight on that, I would have, instead of centering it on this, it appears to be centered on that wall piece. If I'd centered it here, or possibly even here, I would have been able to access the compartment with the town hall as well. And instead what I end up doing is having to use, as you can see, that jump going down to access via this way. So just being a little bit more tight on those drops rather than being a bit loose. Perhaps I could have got some extra value. Ultimately, I don't think it really matters in this raid. So we'll carry on. Okay, so Golem and Pekka and King. There we go. And then the Warden to back up. There would have been a good time to have raged my queen as well, just so that she kept alive. Bowlers get in under rage, and then all hell breaks loose for ENK because I start to freeze off that remaining Inferno and Expo, and importantly Wizard Tower, because of that splash damage. That would have toasted my bowlers something nice and nice and char gold crispy. Okay, King and Pekka get in and they take out that storage, 4k worth of delicious dark in there, and you can see that now that because that second jump spell accessed this side via that little compartment there, that little joint in the wall, they've now gone to loop round in a clockwise direction. So I deploy the rest of my wizards and archers on this side to clean up the junk, hoping that the King and the Pekka will tank enough for the bowlers to get in and start destroying everything that's left. Now it's worth noting we've got a wizard tower and a cannon up here, so my giants are going for that. And the healers went down because those flying skeletons in the middle, which was a shame. Had they been alive, I think would have kept more bowlers in the fight a bit longer. So we can see the giant just taking out that wizard tower and the wizards there. Unfortunately, that cannon's going to finish them off. But I've got the advantage still, and the bowlers and the warden are doing a good job in cleaning up the rest. The only thing over around here is that wizard tower, like I said, taking out my bowlers. But it turns out that in the end, once it's locked onto the warden, it can't really do anything. The Pekka comes through. Its final act was to take one for the team. The wizard tower finished it off. Okay, speeding it up now. And here the bowlers decide to break down a wall, and the warden gets in front by jumping over it. And it's only a matter of time that stops me from getting a full 100% in this raid. Keep in mind that loot bonus, 340k. Again, pretty close to 1 million on this raid. Third video for today, not necessarily a load of loot, but pretty happy to have taken out a legend, even though I'm still on Titans 1, closing in on legends. This is a very common base design at Town Hall 10. You see it quite a lot in Champions and even in Masters as well, so it's worth just taking a note, seeing how to do this. What I did was start my Queen Walk to take out this flank here, and hoping to create an area that my bowlers can start diving in through here, and a jump spell around about, there we go, just on that mortar. The intention is to take out this pod first and then jump into clearing out these pods here. Now, previously I've seen this base being demolished by a very good Laloon, so this base, whilst looking intimidating, it certainly does have the potential to be toppled just like any other base. So here, making sure to get those CC troops frozen at the same time as the poison went down, that was key. Ended up doing a good job in taking out those loons. Unfortunately left a pesky dragon behind, but the dragon doesn't really do anything but stay in that poison, and eventually after killing off the warden, okay, I said it didn't do anything, but it did, eventually it will just end up following the rest of my troops around. So as you can see, once that pod is down, that top bit, the rest becomes elementary in this case because of the queen walk. You don't tend to see this base at Town Hall 11. I guess I did muck around trying to see if I could fit an Eagle Artillery into this base design, sort of where the CC is, etc. But it does seem to lose a little bit of efficiency when you do that. Although in this case, I'm pretty certain that if the Eagle Artillery was where the CC was, it would have been a bit harder for me to get in there. Right, so just down with my queen and 2 archers, so I'm going to speed up. You can see just how strong she is at level 45, getting that walk on, and she just about went down when she was in the red before, but she's come back strong, and she's able to clean up the majority of the base on her own once the bowlers have been in and caught out the major defences. And in the end, it's also it's only time that's managed to defeat me in this particular instance. But as I said, the intention was to show a way that you could perhaps take out that base for yourself if you are coming across it. I have seen it in war a few times as well. So yeah, it's quite common. And this last one, beg your pardon, is a quick raid on a inactive base. Well, I say inactive, but it looks like the Expos and the Eagle Artillery and the Infernos haven't been loaded. Full storages, full to the brim, and it's a ring style base, so again, if you don't funnel correctly, things can go wrong. You can see I've got my queen down here at the left, and I've got my wizards and giants up on the right. Didn't quite get the funnel correct. I really wanted that storage to go down before the bowlers locked on, and of course that wizard tower going down would have been essential as well. But I still get a few troops into the center before some of them peel off to the right, and under rage, they just rip through that core. Again, if I had all my forces going in one direction, oh god, I hate that band. If going in one way, things would have been different, excuse me again. And again, if this Eagle Artillery and Infernos were active, I would have thought twice about going up against this. Essentially, it would have been a max Town Hall 11. As you can see, I used my free spell on some, I'd say, normal defenses. Again, defenses you wouldn't normally use your free spell on. And you can see those bowlers down the bottom there doing a great job picking up the dark from that storage, sorry, not storage, collector. The healers have broken off, and the queen is by herself up the right there with the archers and support earning some delicious DE. And eventually my king and golem break through that wall, which would have been handy to have had a second jump there, or a third jump even. So as the forces hit that wall, so to speak, they've sort of fragmented. Always important you keep them driving forward in a straight as line as possible. But here you can see that the queen does a pretty good job in the end. And whilst I don't get it all here, I certainly get enough to make it a worthwhile endeavour. So again, pretty happy with that stuff there. Excellent. And our last one today is Leesonisra. He's a Town Hall 7, and he's a big fan of the YouTube channel that I've created, so shout out to him. He's done a good job in drawing out that CC dragon, which he's going to dispose of with some archers and some wizards. Probably deploying his wizards and archers in a too tight clump, as you can see here, probably a bit too tight. You want to spread those around a bit more so the splash damage doesn't affect so many of those small squishy troops. Bunch of giants in there, again a big clump, maybe one as a tester, could have been a spring trap there which would have ruined his day a little bit. But doing a good job in disposing of that king with the wizards following on, and then his own king going around the left hand side. So he would have been happy with this. Again, anytime you can find a large amount of loot like 600k worth of pink, as he did in this particular case, you're doing a pretty good job. Sorry, 600k gold and 500k pink. You're doing a pretty good job. Using the heals up, getting the swag loons in from the CC just to finish off. He probably didn't need those actually, but hey, you know what? If you got them, use them right. They're free. So all in all, hope you've enjoyed today's outing. 3 of my videos and 1 of Lee's. Just some big loot. Obviously the counterpoint will be the fails of the week, which I'm going to be making now. So stay tuned for that video too. As always, give a like, thumbs up, subscribe, etc. Dev out.